Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Allison Kay. I didn't even know how to start the video just now. I wanted to do a birth story video. I already filmed this once, but I feel like it was very clinical. So I want to get into it and just be more relatable and storytelling with it too, because it was a good time, honestly. I enjoyed it. There was some pain, but it was so worth it to get the prize of my sweet little John. Baby John, he is so sweet. He was born on October 7th, 8 pounds, 4 ounces, and the sweetest little thing. But we'll get into that. So I never did a 39-week pregnancy update either. So at my 39-week appointment, I went in and my doctor asked if I wanted to be induced. And I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on just seeing naturally how long I would go until I delivered, until my body went into labor on its own. But when she said that, it was really tempting and it gave me a lot of peace about the situation. So I thought about it for a little bit. I talked to my husband and we decided that was the way we wanted to go. So we decided to get induced. So on Tuesday the 6th, that is when we went in, but backing up a tiny bit, the night before we decided to play Scrabble. And so we were up until 12:30 playing Scrabble and then went to bed late. I don't recommend doing that because you need to get your rest. Also, I don't know how long I'll be able to record this because John might wake up and I need to actually do something real quick. I'm back. Also, I am not pregnant. Thought I'd do a bump update. My belly has actually gone down quite a bit and that's been real nice. But I am totally not pushing my body at all to do anything to recover. I am just being patient with it and letting it rest and heal. But anyway, so yeah, we played Scrabble and at 6:30 in the morning on October 6th, we got called in to the hospital. And so we got there around 7:30. You know, you have to get checked in, get dressed, blah, 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 just different stuff. So we got there around 7:30. I was 4 centimeters and 80% effaced. And things were good. We just kind of were hanging out. They started me on Pitocin at 9 o'clock, and with Pitocin, the way that they did it, they can go up to a 20, so they started me out at a 1, and every half hour to an hour, they would come in and bump it up. I wasn't feeling contractions, even though I was 4 centimeters and 80% effaced. I was not feeling contractions. I was just, on my own. I was whatever. So they gave me Pitocin and started upping that slowly. And by 11:30, so 2.5 hours later, I started to feel the contractions and notice them a bit, but it was still early in the process, spoiler alert. So fast forward to, so throughout the day, I had clear foods and like clear liquids. Luke went and got lunch at the cafeteria. We were just hanging out, watching TV, talking, texting family, and when there were updates to give. But at 3 o'clock, I was still about a 4, maybe a 5, as far as centimeters dilated goes. And that's how it was until about 5 o'clock. At this point, my Pitocin was up to, I think, like a 12 or something out of 20, maybe a 15. So anyway, at that point, 5 o'clock, contractions were coming every minute. And so things were very intense by 5 o'clock, and then at 6:30 they broke my water, which actually hurt. I think they might have, like, I don't know, scratched me a little bit with the hook on the way in, because the actual popping of the water, I could feel it when it popped, and then gushed out forever. It was intense. I'm not sparing details here too much. That was very weird, and it felt like it just kept going and going and going, like just so much water, so much. So yeah. At 6:30, they broke my water for me. So Pitocin and breaking my water is how they induced me. And then by 7:15, 7:30, my contractions were very strong. So I asked for the epidural, and I'm so glad I did. I don't have any regrets. This was an induction epidural. That's the way we did it. And all right, sorry, I had to go let Sadie in. So yeah, I just want to say, like, I feel like I'm just whizzing through this, so I just want to back up a little bit and say everything was good. The clear liquids that I had were chicken broth and popsicles and ices and water, ice chips, all that kind of stuff, juice. So anyway, that's in case you're curious what the clear liquids are. And with the pandemic going on, I was only allowed to have Luke there with me, although I didn't even ask. I probably maybe could have had like a doula or a midwife there if I wanted, but I didn't want to hire someone to do that. So it was just Luke and I, and nurses coming in My doctor was there for a 24-hour shift this day, so I figured she probably would be the one to deliver me if she wasn't busy with another delivery at the same time. So, and they ended up telling me that. They were like, yeah, it'll probably be her unless she's delivering, and then it'll be someone else from practice, and they told me another person's name. And the other doctor was actually the doctor that delivered me when I was born, and my sister and my sister's baby and my friend's child. So I was very comfortable with that doctor also being potentially the one to deliver John. So that's a little bit more of like the tidbits, facts. With the pandemic, I didn't really care. I'm really glad that it was just Luke and I, and for recovery as well, because we already had like 1 million people coming in to check on things. I did not need or want anyone else coming, honestly. It was just hard, and it was nice to get out of there eventually, and having people visit at home is much better than having people visit in the hospital, to me, from my experience. So that is all of that. So back to the story. Like I was saying, they broke my water at 6:30, 7:15, 7:30. The contractions were very strong, and so I decided to get the epidural. At this point, it was getting hard to, like, I wouldn't be able to sit still much longer for the epidural. So I'm really glad that I got it, because if I didn't do it then, I might not have been able to get it at all afterward. But once I got the epidural, I think it did help relax me to the point where things progressed a lot more. It also could have been the water being broken a little bit too, because there wasn't that much time between having my water broken at 6:30 and getting the epidural at 7:30. So I don't know which one really did it more, but I'm sure relaxing with the epidural did help. And I think I still felt the contractions, but it definitely was a lot better. And it took a little while for the epidural to kick in for me. At first, it felt like they were asking every few seconds. It was like every 5-10 minutes they were coming in to ask if I was feeling better. But it took about half an hour for me to not feel the contractions as bad anymore. It started to get a lot better by 8 o'clock. And so 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was about 4 or 5 centimeters dilated. 9 o'clock p.m., I was 5 centimeters dilated. So that was a little bit disappointing to get that update. We really thought that I would be farther along by then, maybe like a 6, 7, 8, who knows, but I was still 5. But John was lower in station. He was farther down the birth canal, so that was really good. But that was 9 o'clock, and 11:30, I was 9+ centimeters. So I went from a 5 to almost 10 within 2.5 hours. So sitting there from coming in at 4 centimeters until 9 o'clock, I was 5 centimeters. And then 11:30, I was almost fully dilated. So it was insane how fast I dilated once I got the epidural and all of that. That was really good. But yeah, they were like 9.5. You might even be fully there. You might be complete. And you are 100% effaced for sure. But for me, I had a lot of scar tissue in my cervix area because of my septum removal last year. And so with the scar tissue, it was hard, even for my doctor at regular appointments before this. She would have to really feel to see how dilated I was. So for the nurses and the resident that was there, feeling how dilated I was a little bit tricky with that scar tissue. It definitely threw them off a little bit. So they were like, you're definitely a 9.5. You might be a 10. We need to get a doctor in here to check you to confirm, to have just a better idea of what's going on. So that was 11:30, and by 12:30 I was pushing. My doctor had given the okay to push. She was still in a C-section or something, some delivery, but she was given the okay. She gave us the okay to start pushing. And for a long time, it was just me and Luke and one nurse and the resident. But she had to go after a while to go deliver another baby. So it was just a good old time. They said with a first-time mom with an induction like that, it usually takes about 2 hours to push. It took me an hour and a half, so woohoo. Good job, Allison. I'm pushing my hair back, pretending to pat myself on the back. But yeah, so 12:30 I started to push, and by 1:56 he was born. Pushing was really great because the pain of I'm starting to cry thinking about him being born. Sorry, I'm probably sounding weird. But the pain it got bad again towards the end. I think my epidural was starting to wear off a little bit or something. I don't know. Or that was just that intense probably. Maybe both. But 12:30 when I started pushing, I got some relief. The pain wasn't bad anymore because you're pushing through it. You're working through it. And I pushed as hard as I could. Why am I crying? I pushed really hard. And I I knew that that's what, you know, you have to push really hard to get a baby out. So I gave it my all, and it was just really good. Oh my goodness, I didn't think I would cry. I've filmed this once or twice already, and I'm just now crying about it. But it was really good. It was such a satisfying thing, both in relieving the pain by pushing, and also just when he was here, once he was born, it was so satisfying to finally meet him. I really didn't think I'd get this emotional. After years of trying to conceive and having a miscarriage, it was just really cool to, that's such a lame way to say it. It was really, really nice, fulfilling, and it was just such a blessing to have him, to know that God ordained his life and allowed us to get that far to bring him here. And now he's 2 weeks old as I'm filming this, and just to know, yeah, that God wants him here and gave us that gift of John is so good. Okay, work through it, Allison. So he was born at 1:56 in the morning, October 7th, on the due date. And he's the best little blessing. I love him so much. So that is pretty much everything. We did find out, so that was the 7th he was born, and 4 a.m. on the 8th, we found out he had jaundice. So we had to stay for a little while. And okay, we had to stay for a little while. He had to be put under the lights. He had a few different things, you know, done. And he's all better now, all healed, and praise the Lord for that. But I feel like I probably missed a lot of things. So if you guys have questions, leave them down below. Ask me any questions about birth or postpartum or whatever. I would like to do a whole separate video on postpartum once I'm a little bit farther out with it. But yeah, leave me questions. I would love to do a whole video on like a birth Q&A. So I had an epidural, I had an induction, and it took about 19 hours total from the time that we got to the hospital, not even started anything. When we walked in the hospital doors was 7:30, and he was born at 2 a.m. the next day. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry I got so emotional. But yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, have a great day, God bless, and goodbye.